In this video, we're going to look at how to shuffle or randomize the elements in an array. This is going to be useful for things like shuffling a deck of cards or randomizing the placement of treasures in a map or the placement of monsters. And it's going to come back when we look at sorting in terms of how do we sort a list of high scores and put them all in the right order. So first we're going to look at the case of shuffling, and then in another video we're going to look at the case of sorting. So here is our example of shuffling cards. We have an array or a list of cards. And in this example, we have a 3 of spades in index 5 and a 9 of hearts in index 0, and we want to switch them. So you might say, okay, well, I copy the card in index 5 to index 0, and then I copy the card in index 0 to index 5. Well, let's see what happens when we try that. So if we copy the card in index 5 into index 0, the 3 of spades has moved. And then we say, okay, move the card in index 0 to index 5. And now we've copied the 3 of spades back, so the array cell 5 hasn't changed. And what happened to the 9 of hearts? Right? It got clobbered. Like the garbage collector is going to come get it now. So you can't just switch array cells like that. What you need to do is save one of the array cells off to a temporary variable before you copy over it. So let's take a look at what that would look like. Here is our array, and before we do anything, we save the thing we're going to copy over to a temporary variable. And now we can move the element at index 5 to index 0. So our 3 of spades is moved. And now rather than copying index 0 back to index 5, we copy the temporary variable into index 5. So now we have accomplished what we set out to do. We have switched the cells at index 0 and index 5 using a temporary variable. So the moral of the story is when you want to switch array elements or list elements, you need a temporary variable. Otherwise, you're going to end up overwriting one of them. Now, let's take a look at what this would look like in some pseudocode, which kind of looks like actual code here. So in this example, what I've done is I have taken the element at index 0 in my deck, and I'm saving it to a temporary variable. I'm assuming that card is the type that I'm using to represent the cards here, that the deck is an array of card types. So I'm saving the card at index 0 to a temporary variable. Then I copy card 2 into card 1, and then I copy the temporary variable into card 2, right? So what I'm doing is I'm saving the card index 0, overwriting it, and then copying the temporary variable over the card that stomped on it. So there you go. The moral of the story is you need a temporary variable when you want to switch array elements. Now, if you were actually shuffling a deck, you would not want to hard code numbers in here like this, because the whole point of shuffling is to make things random, and this is not random. So this is where your math.random class, your random class would come in, and you would create a new random number generator and pick 2 random indices and then switch them. So rather than having 0 and 5 here, we have index 1 and index 2, and those are randomly determined by the random number generator. So this will randomly switch 2 cards, but again, that's not a very good shuffle. So what you want to do is put this in a loop, have it run 100 times, 500 times, and what it's going to do is randomly pick one card, randomly pick a second card, and then switch them using that temporary variable. So that's kind of all there is to it. Again, the moral of the story is when you want to exchange elements in an array or a list, you need a temporary variable. Otherwise, something is going to get stomped on. So we will see this again when we come to sorting. And if you have any questions about this, please ask. Thank you for watching.